interested in that how to convince people, how to persuade people from another culture you really do not quite understand.
Yeah. Well, that comes up a lot, especially with companies that are becoming more global, and that includes China. There's companies in China who are not just big in China, but they're doing lots of business on the international stage and buying companies elsewhere as well. The concept of influence and persuasion is not new. So influence and persuasion has been around for at least 2,000–3,000 years, to the days of the Romans, and when people used to talk about somebody, making a really good speech and getting people enthusiastic, it uses some of those principles. But what it says is you need to be able to present to people and communicate to people in a way that they feel enthusiastic themselves. So we've all seen speeches of some really good, whether it's a politician or a military leader or a business leader, where people feel really motivated to do what needs to be done. And those skills can be learned by people, not just who are in business, but also the way we approach people to make sure that they understand what needs to be done and why. But more importantly, they need to understand what's in it for them. Why are they doing this? So for a lot of people, that means, what happens if we don't do this change? What will I gain from this change? And also, again, going back to trust, people feel trusted. A lot of organizations I've seen don't tell all of their people everything that they need to know, but think that we should keep information, and that doesn't build trust. And you don't build influence if you hold back from the team who was responsible for making the change, for instance. So you can influence and persuade people in lots of different ways, and lots of those ways have been scientifically proven over certainly the last 60 years through different marketing. And a lot of this information has come from companies who need to influence and persuade us with consumer products, for instance. So if I want you to buy my car versus a competitor's car, how do I convince you that my car is a better choice for you? If I want you to buy my toothpaste rather than a competitor's toothpaste, what do I do to convince you? So that learning has been applied to how do we convince people to change their behaviors in a work setting. So if I need you to do better performance, how do I do that without threatening you, without you feeling that you're not being trusted or you're being picked on? And there's lots of strategies that are being implemented today by public and private sector to make sure that people are making the right choices more than anything else.
Yeah, okay. For instance, if I am your global MBA candidate, so how will you convince me, persuade me to apply for Manchester Global MBA?
Okay. Well, that's an easy one. One is, first of all, we are truly a global business school. We have 7 centers. So we have obviously Manchester, where the Manchester Business School sits, but we have Sao Paulo in Brazil. We have a center in Miami. We have a center in Dubai, in Shanghai, Singapore, and in Hong Kong as well. So part of your learning will not be just talking to you in Shanghai about globalization. You will have the opportunity to travel globally and to experience learning about business in an international setting. The other key thing is you will be working and meeting people who are global business people in their own right. So you will not be working with just, for instance, Chinese students. You will be working with students from many different countries. The university has students from 154 countries at the moment. So there'll be opportunity to learn from each other as well. The other key thing is the projects that you work on will also be international projects. So you won't be focusing on just the China market, but you will be learning on how to bring those success stories from out of China, how you can apply them within China, within the China setting. So we're very careful to make sure that we don't teach you something that works in the United Kingdom, but also what you might need to do differently culturally to make sure that works in the China market as well.
Yeah, so in your opinion, that how to interpret Manchester B School worldwide operation in the point of globalization? Why global this world is that important for a Chinese local citizen?
I think it is, because I think even if you look around large cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, the people you see on the street, it's changed in the last 10, 15 years. You see lots more people from other countries. You see a lot of Chinese businesses who own big brands. So Lenovo is a great example. Huawei is a great example. Volvo cars, people think it's a Swedish brand. Its pedigree started in Sweden, but it's now Chinese owned. If you look at the products that people are using in China, they're international products, international fashion. And there's an opportunity for China to also globalize. So I know there's lots of companies in China. There's a company called Tektronic Industries in Guangzhou who have bought brands like Hoover, and they manufacture high quality products for other companies around the world. So they're not just producing low cost products, what is considered the stereotype of China. We produce low cost. They're producing high value, highly sought after big brands of tremendous quality. So I think the China success story continues, not just in China, but Chinese business leaders across all sectors are looking internationally. And to go international, you need to understand how international business works, because, for instance, the value of Guangxi and relationship building works in different ways in different countries, and you need to appreciate how it works in the United States versus how it works in Europe versus how it works back home in China.